and that would be nice too. Okay, better be a good class if you're stuck with it for a while. All right. Let me see. Where am I here? Okay, man. All right, here we go. So we're going to start out. If you have 2 blocks, today's your lucky day. If you don't have 2 blocks, it's still your lucky day. Don't worry about it. So what I want to do is work with blocks. Everything we do can be done without blocks. So don't turn off your Zoom if you don't have 2 blocks. All right. So if you have them, if you don't, you're sitting in bound angle, and if you have them, bring them to the outside knees. Sometimes people have 1 block. That one doesn't work so well here. So you're holding your feet, you're lengthening. We're going to do a few movements that are like really hip opening, working with blocks. We're going to do some sun salutations, and you'll see how that all works. And lots of, kind of slow movements. So let's circle if you can. It's a little harder because you have to go against the inner thighs, okay? If you are very tight, give yourself more support by bringing the blocks in. If you're more open, go out more. Okay. And if this is too hard for you, just cross your legs, sit cross-legged. And then reverse. Good. All right. And then from here, coming down. So we're going to do back and forth. You're coming low, exhale, and then inhale up. So let's say the nasal breathing is through the nose. Nasal breathing. It's nasal breathing. It's through your nose. Inhale. Exhale. I would like us to think about slowing down. Slowing down. If this pandemic time has taught us anything, I think it's taught us, or me, I could say us, a lot about uncertainty. And I think it's taught us to slow down. Dropping down. And inhale. And by slowing down, observing and being more yoga-like. You're going to stretch out your legs. Flex and point. Flex and point. Flex and point, and flex and point. Okay, and then we'll take the block, and you're going to sit in Virasana. If that doesn't work for your knee, with your knee, you'll sit cross-legged. If it works with your knees to sit in Virasana, you'll bring the block underneath you. The beauty is you can also stack 2. If Vester were here, he would stack, 3 or so. He really stacks it. And so whatever is easiest on your knees. Okay? You can curl toes under or not. Oh, I curled my toes under because my feet are cramping up. Okay. There we go. I'm going to curl under. And there we go. So the reason I want to be on this is I want to do a side bend. And I want to feel, you could do it from sitting cross-legged. I want to feel sits bones down on the block as I come to this side bend. Okay, I think the foot cramp went away. Reaching in and exhale. Deep breath in and exhale. And then the other side. Reach up and exhale. See if you can get your arm, not in front of your face, but alongside your ear or a little further back. Deep breath in. Exhale. Good. And release. Interlace fingers, press palms forward, and then press your arms up. And shoulders like to hike up. Draw the shoulders down. Breathe. Inhale. Exhale. One more breath in. And exhale. Arms come behind your back. Interlace your fingers. Extend the arms. Make your arms disappear behind your back. Squeeze shoulder blades together. Breathing in. And exhale. And then we'll come forward. So from here, if you have the two blocks, so again, this could be cat-cow, regular cat-cow. If you have the blocks, they're stacked next to each other, and your knees come up on them, okay? And we're going to do cat-cow. So you're round. What I like about this is it helps me to open my lower back. And inhale, extend. Exhale, tuck your belly in. Inhale, extend. And keep going back and forth. Last one, exhale. And inhale. Good. And then from here, we're going to take the block between knees, one block between knees, and you've got your feet are together. You can move the other block out of the way, and you're in your first downward facing dog. You can have your knees bent or straighten the legs and push your hands into the mat. And we're going to raise the heels and lower. Again, raise the heels. Right now I'm on the ball of the foot and lower. Raise the heels. And maybe you can actually come up by squeezing into the block and come up on the very tips of your toes, you never know, and drop your heels down. One more, either coming to the ball of the foot, that's what I'm doing now, or coming up onto your toes and press on down. Good. Come to plank. Have your feet really close together. Squeeze into the block. You're in plank pose, breathing in. Exhale, and some can come to upward facing dog. So you lower, keep squeezing into the block, look ahead of you. Breath in, exhale, and drop your knees down. You could take the block away, and the blocks could be for your hands to be on, and your hands are a little elevated, your head down, stretching into child's pose, releasing your wrists. And then from here, we're going to come onto our backs. So there's a lot we can do with the blocks on our backs. So we'll take the block to the knees. And it's the most narrow is how I did it. And we're going to do our pelvic tilts. So exhale, press your back down, really squeeze down. And inhale, arch. Exhale, press down, engage your core. Inhale, lift. Let your back arch. Now, when you come down again, I want you to hold that, but also notice that you can breathe. Like, even though you're doing the pelvic tilt, you can still breathe, you can still squeeze into the block, it can still engage pelvic floor muscles, and your neck is free. And then release. Now, we're going to come to bridge, and I believe we did these, I can't remember if we did these last week. So some like the narrow. I like to go second width. That seems to work better for my back. So my feet are pressing down. I'm going to squeeze into the block. I'm going to come up and take a moment. Hands can be down or clasping hands. Tuck shoulders underneath you and lift, really lift, opening the upper back, and breathe. Work strongly through both legs. Many of us have a weaker side, so your less dominant side. So try to activate that side. And release, coming on out. So we'll take the block aside for a moment, go to the counter pose, happy baby, and elbows are to the inside knee, and breathe. Inhale. Exhale. So I'm going to suggest that the block is under your back. And again, all of these can be done without. So if the block is too hard, you might have to throw a little blanket or a towel over it so that it makes it a little softer for you. And it's high rather than low. It's going to be high on your sacrum, a little high. And hug your right knee to chest and left leg extends. So you can see all of these can be done without a block, right? And so what happens is as I pull in, because I have a block, I kind of rock. So breathe in and then flex the extended leg's ankle. Push out through the heel. Leg is straight. And do the other side. Hug, left knee to chest, right leg extending, right ankle flexed. And hold, hug, breathe in. Exhale. And release. Okay, so we're going to come to the first side again. So hugging your foot, you have half lotus. You could use a strap so it's different from hugging in. You turn, they have a turnout, and you're holding. So again, the other leg is, maybe the knee is bent, maybe the leg is extended, and you have this little rocking action. So take a moment here, stretching the outer hip, breath in, flex your right ankle. Exhale. Imagine you get your ankle towards your face or towards your heart. All right. Other side. Hold left foot, extending the right, and left knee pointed over to the left. Flex your left ankle and breathe. Nice stretch to the outer hip. Breath in. Sometimes I feel like, my block is kind of tilting back, which is very nice because it helps me to move. And then finally, release, take the block away. Okay. So the block now is at your knees, and you want a 90-degree bend at your knees. When we're tied, the legs come down. I want you to squeeze in the block and keep 90, and arms at a T position. So you could still work your pelvic floor muscles, okay? So exhale across, turn your head left, knees go right, come back to center, inhale. Exhale, knees left, head right, back and forth. Yeah, and so as you're moving, you're really trying to move smoothly. When you come center, reconnect to the floor. We're going to do two, like one to each side, okay? One more round. Good. And back to center. Good work. So we're coming up to sitting once again. And when you come to sitting, have the block at your knees. And so you're going back, and I tend to want to curl in. I just feel like that is a way to access my abdominals, and it's not so I curl in, and I'm going back, squeezing in. If this bothers your tailbone, you might want a little more padding underneath you. And then we come up, and we extend, and then we have tabletop. So hands are behind you, bring your feet a little closer in, push up, squeeze into the block, lift, tilt your head back. Drop down, and again, extending, go back. And just my heels are touching. Good. And then come up. Your choice, do the same thing or come to reverse plank. Hands are pressing down, and up we go. Yeah, breathing in, exhale. And lower. Okay. And then one more time like that. We go back. This time what we do is we turn towards the right and come back to center. Inhale. And exhale, turn towards the left and back to center and all the way up. And your choice, bridge, tabletop, reverse plank. I think reverse plank works the best with the block in place, breathing in. Exhale, try to make a nice table. And releasing. Good work there. All right. So from here, we're going to come to Kind of depends on you here, how you want to work, blocks or no blocks. I'm going to have middle height, and I'm just going to bring my right foot forward, and my left leg is extended. I forgot to put the chat up, and I saw, yeah, okay, I saw, there's that little, okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so good. And you're stretching through. It's like that little, you're ready to take off. All right. Let's switch. So we could walk switch or jump switch. First time around, I'm going to walk switch. All right, so again, you could be up high, and you might not even need the blocks. I don't necessarily need them, but I'm enjoying using them. So stretching through your back leg and getting into hip flexor. Breath in. Exhale. So jump switch or walk switch. It depends on you. So if you jump switch, you want to like bring all your weight over like your arms, and you jump switch. Okay. And then from here, your right leg is forward. You're going to take your right arm up into the air. So it's a twist and breathe. So try not to be too high up. You're trying to drop down. You want your thigh parallel to the floor. And then release. And we're going to jump switch or walk switch. 1, 2, 3. And once here, turn left arm coming up into the air and breathe. Nice extension. Great. And release. So I don't know how the blocks will be. So I'm going to have them low, and they're more stable, and my palm is at the edge of the block. It's downward facing dog, okay? So you're in downward facing dog, and your blocks are going to be as wide as your mat. So there's some space between them, okay? The outer edge of the block is at the outer edge of the mat. And again, if you might find that you're not using them. So take your right leg up into the air, keep your hips squared, look at your hands, and swing your right foot forward. Just going to pause there. Go back, swing the leg up into the air. Look at your right hand and swing your foot to the outside right block. Oh, okay. Got you into lizard, okay? And then from here, maybe you're happy here. Maybe you can drop your elbows down onto the blocks. You never know. Try to even out your weight. Remember, the blocks can come up more. And your wrists are relaxed. Back knee can come down. And breathe. You might even take your right arm to the inside leg and then to the outside and drop down. We're going to press back to downward facing dog, and we'll do the other side. So the feet are together. Left leg comes up. Now, we're going to first go center. So look at the center of the blocks and swing your foot forward. My knee is going over the line of the ankle, but I'm supporting with my hands. And then we're going to swing back again, swing your leg up in the air, and look at your left hand, look at the left block, and then bring your foot to the outside block. All right, so you've got right into lizard, and some of you can come down onto the elbows. Can you bear equal weight on the elbows? The wrists are finally relaxed. Hands can just drape and breathe. And then just allow the inner groin to release. You can draw the back knee down. Take your left hand to the inside ankle and around to the outside foot. So just a little different way to work. You notice all my plants are gone. I brought them all home so they can be watered by a neighbor. Rick's not, he's still in California, so we have somebody come and water. All right, and release. And then from here, plank, plank, plank. We're almost done with the strength part, right? So, woo, you're here. Now, if you don't like your hands on blocks, take your hands away. If you can't, you're going to take your right knee to your right elbow and extend, plank. Take your left knee to your left elbow. Woo, and down. Some of you have one more in you. Some of you are going to drop back to child's pose. Knee, elbow, and knee, elbow, and finally knees down. Press your hands back by your feet. Release your wrists and breathe. Good. We're going to make our way up to a forward fold. And what I would say is, why not have the block at your thighs, curl toes under, shift back into a forward fold, and allow your back to completely relax. Hands to elbows, and breathe. Relax the back of your neck. Breathing in and exhale. One more breath in and exhale. So we'll soften the knees, press on up. Good work. Reach the arms up into the air. And hands to heart center. So I'm moving a little further back, and we have a side bend movement. So take hold of one wrist, side stretch. And it's a great way to decompress the wrist. So you just kind of hold at your wrist and pull. And the other side. Hold kind of just towards where the hand begins. And pull. Breathe in. Exhale. Oh, good morning stretches there. And releasing. So for our sun salutation, the first two rounds are slow, like first two rounds, and then we'll just see how time permits and where it goes. My goal is to have slow sun salutations with some variations using blocks, and then going into something that's, just smoother. I wouldn't say fast, but just a little less workshopped. Yeah, let me see. Trying to get it just right. There we go. Good. It'll kind of work. How's that? Oh boy. All right. Okay, it'll work. It'll do. So hands are to heart center. Mountain. So what I'm going to do as we're working is talk about elements. And in yoga there's 5 elements. And mountain kind of contains them all. Okay, so you're in mountain, eyes are closed. You feel earth under your feet. First element, you feel water. Element of water represented in the pelvis. You feel fire. Element fire represented in your belly and your digestive organs. You feel the element air in your heart and your throat. And most important of them all, at your brow center and top of your head, crown of your head, you feel our awareness of space, what we call akasha in Sanskrit. Akasha is space, ether, and it encompasses, it's all encompassing. It encompasses all the other elements. Reach up, extend. The other elements could not exist without Akasha. Akasha is a container to hold everything. So now you're lifting, and we're reminded of heart. You're reminded of air. Air. Look upward. Breathe. Soften the knees, drop down, and come into Uttanasana, forward fold. Look at your knees. And I think water. It's second chakra, but also I just think of water element here. You may feel other elements present, But I think of water, and it's like your upper body is cascading. It's like a cascade, like a waterfall. Breathe in. Exhale. Let's take the right foot back. You could have your blocks higher if you like. Right foot back. And then back heel down. And bring your arms up. Palms together or not. Warrior one. Fire. Heat. Energy. Sun. So we say the element of fire manifest in this pose. Breathe in. Exhale. Downward facing dog. So let's press on back. And I would say there's a little of earth in here because you have to really feel your hands and feet, part of the earth. But there's also, again, kind of water, hip opener, hamstrings. Come forward to plank. And from plank, you're in fire again. So fire pose. Breathing in. Exhale. We're going to bring the knees down. Keep your pelvis up. And bring your chin down. Elbows hugging ribs. Belly collapses. Upper body comes up. So you can come up a little bit. And some of you can come up quite a ways in cobra. Breathing in. Exhale. Cobra is earth. I mean, you would probably think heart center, but cobra, I just think of, they're earthy, right? They're like slithering around the earth. And then lower and release. We're going to try a little something with the blocks. You may or may not like this. So some of you will want to go to Sphinx, and some will say, oh, this is kind of cool. The blocks are even. My elbows are on the blocks. I have the blocks on the lowest height. So my elbows are on the block, not my elbows, my forearms, elbows and forearms. Feet pressing down, and breathe. And then lower. Once you lower, move the blocks out of the way, or they can actually be where you place your hands in child's pose, stretching your back. Hands could be on the blocks as you press on back. Head down and breathe. So child's pose, I think of water. I think of, fetus in utero, and you're floating in an underwater, it's like a water world. The beginnings of our life in a water world. Come up. And we're coming to downward facing dog. So again, if the blocks are too much, if they're too soft, don't use them. But if they're firm, they're kind of nice to do. Downward facing dog, extending and breathe. Your right leg will swing up in the air. Look at your hands. Swing your right foot forward. Swing your arms up. Fire. Warrior one. And breathe. But you can see elements, all the elements are always present. There's air, there's water, but mostly I think of power pose, and I think of fire. Breath in. Exhale. This pose helps build confidence, self-confidence. So we're coming down and bringing your left foot forward. So as your feet are together, lower your head, and hands to elbows, stretch your back and breathe. Let's have the feet together. Come to chair, Uttanasana. Legs are together. If you want to block between your knees, that's fine. You're going to drop down, and what I'm going to do is let's just do one arm at a time. Extend one arm. Woo. Lower. Extend the other arm. Lower, and then let's extend both arms. Let's go hands to ears, and then extend from there. And see if you can really drop down. Maybe more, who knows? And then push heels right into the mat. Lift, arch back, reach, and hands are to heart center. And breathe. Exhale. So even though some of us are working at a much more, advanced level, I know that. And the blocks are amazing because they allow us to experience poses differently. So we're doing another round, and I'm adding more variations. Okay, so I don't know. You might want them or not. Inhale, reach up. You can think about elements or simply notice how your body is releasing. Lower, look at your head, look at your knees, and then extend. Left foot back. Low lunge. Keep your back heel up this time. Swing the arms up. Arms at a T position, palms facing up. Turn towards your forward leg, your right leg. Turn, 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 and look at your back palm. This is excellent for balance. And your obliques. Come back to center. Take the arms up again. And this time, bring your hands down and start to straighten your right leg. Pyramid, your back heel will come closer in. And breathe. Your pelvis is squared. You could stay in this upright position or lower your head towards your knee. Let's come back to plank. So again, I'm going to put the blocks on low. I'm going to have my hands on the blocks, and I'm coming back to plank. From plank, I'm going to do some strength, right knee, right elbow, woo, and lower, and left knee, left elbow, and lower. We're trying not to move our torso too much, and then knees down. Let's move the block out of the way, the blocks out of the way for this, and we're going to come right on to the belly. In Sphinx. Sphinx is nice because it's a back bend, but it's not extreme in any way. And your body, your back is like, oh, okay, we can do this. Let's slump. Get it over with. And then push, 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 and lengthen. Let's do it again. Slump. And then just evolve and open up like an amaryllis. I let my friends have my amaryllis. It bloomed. It's so beautiful. But I'm going to be gone this afternoon, and Rick's with his stepmom taking care of things. So amaryllis opening. I hope some of you have an amaryllis at home. They're beautiful. So your fingertips are down, elbows bent, and we have spider hands. So what's really important here is that your elbows are pointing up, and you're going to use your strong fingers, and you're going to press up. So what happens is most backs can tolerate this because it's a blend of strength and flexibility. Lower and come down. Fingertips. You can find a new position if you like. I like my position. So I'm not going to move my hands. And lift, look up, and lower. Last one, push down, lengthen, extend, and lower. And then we'll come back to child's pose. Stretch out your spine and breathe. Come to kneeling, clasp your hands. Just clasp your hands, lift your heart center. And all we're really doing is I want you to isolate your low back, and I want you to sink into your back. I want you to really open up the heart center. Boy, is that a journey. We have a whole side we're still working on. So we're going to take the left, come back to downward facing dog, and your left leg is going to swing up into the air. Hands on blocks make this movement so much easier. So if you want, sorry, I forgot to tell you that earlier. So here we are in the low lunge. pushing out through the back heel, and go ahead and come up, extend, palms touching. Keep your back heel up. Arms are at the sides, palms facing up, and you're twisting to the left. Twist, twist, twist. Extend, look at your left hand, and breathe. Maybe dropping down a little more. That's powerful. Come down and start to straighten your left leg. So you might say, oh, I need the blocks here. Straighten your leg. It's hamstring. Your back heel comes in and heel is grounded. Pelvis squared. It's mostly hamstring. I want you to really activate the front of your leg, your quads, your left quadriceps. Strong. Breath in. Some of you have the flexibility to lower your head towards your knee and breathe. Good. And then we're bringing it forward. So you're going to come forward. So as you're here, bend your knees, drop down. We're coming to chair again. And quads are strong, one arm at a time. It's kind of nice to do that way. And draw the arm down and do the other one. Extend. And before I do the way, let's just have hands by the ears and then extend from there. And it's kind of a nice way of engaging. And maybe you can come a little lower. And then push heels into the mat. Lift up, look up to the ceiling, the sky, the ceiling. And hands are to heart center. And breathe. And exhale. Very nice. Let's come to wide. I think we will do another, I don't know, we'll look at another round. I hope you're okay with that kind of pacing and everything. Heels in, toes turned out. I think you are. I was thinking about online yoga, and let's come down. It's very interesting. It's nothing will take the place of person to person. I know that. However, I have also noticed that online teaching, you hear me better. Like, you hear me, you see me. Like, sometimes in class, if you're in the back row, I don't think you can always see me. And, sometimes it's dark in our studio. And you probably can't always hear me. I turn around, I don't have a mic on. You go into Shavasana, my voice gets lighter, softer. So I think that there's a different kind of learning going on. And part of it is, one, you can see me. Two, you can hear me most of the time when the mic's working. And I know this because in this summer I did yoga in the park. I had like 4 people, or 5. I think I let 5 people, we only did 3 weeks of it, August, I think. And the people who came, they said they'd been doing online yoga, and their yoga was unbelievable. And they said, yeah, I've been doing online every day. And so anyways, that's really promising. So I'm not going to use blocks for this next round, and you'll see how it works. We have time for it. You'll just see how it's kind of a journey. So hands are to heart center. Inhale, reach up. Arch back. I want you to give yourself some silence, but also an affirmation. And the affirmation has to do with gratitude, okay? I feel gratitude for, you fill in the blanks. Or it could be another kind of wording, but something I am thankful for. I don't know. But it's an affirmation. And I just want you to have it right now, claim it, make it your own, and let it permeate your movements. Right foot back. Heel down. Warrior one. Humble warrior. Clasp hands, look up, It's good. It's good to practice being humble. It's good to eat humble pie sometimes. Take your left shoulder down, lower your head, take your arms away from your back, and breathe. Look at your back foot. Exhale. I think humble warrior is a good one to do every day. Practice this, what it means. Lower. Plank position. Side plank. You choose your side. You choose how you would like to work. You could do your full-on plank. Breath in. Exhale. Come to plank again, Purva Uttanasana, looking at the mat, and then come to the other side. You can do any way you like. Come into side plank. Downward facing dog. Your right leg comes up into the air, the hip opens. Send your knee up high. Some will flip the dog. Maybe you're like, oh, no, I'm going to stay right here. If you can, you step your right foot back. You press up and come into flipping your dog like a back bend. Do second side. Left leg up, hip opening, bend your knee, drop your foot down if you want, and press back and breathe. Exhale. Lower. Bring your knees down. Press your hands back by your feet. Lower your head. Come to kneeling. So it's going to be just this one. I'll make sure that everything's even on the sides instead of doing two this time. What I'd like you to see, if you have those blocks, you're kneeling, do your hands touch the blocks? See, so it depends. Like, if you have a super long torso, you're probably not, and shorter arms. I mean, it just depends on your body proportions, right? And your height and that. Do you touch the block? That's interesting, right? I do. Not everybody does. And then what I'd like you to do is maybe you're like, oh, I'm not arching. Maybe you'll clasp your hands. Maybe you'll reach the blocks a little further back and look up. Some can go further, okay? So see what works for you. Don't strain your back. Breathing in. Lift your heart center. Exhale. And then I'm going to work with the top height. You're going to come down and lower your head. Place the blocks closer into your pelvis. Push your hands into the block. Come up and arch back. Exhale. Child's pose. Last one, push your hands into the blocks, and look up. Turn yourself inside out. Good work. Blocks are out of the way. We're coming to warrior one. So right leg swings up, right foot forward, back heel down, and up we go. Hands behind the back. Interlace fingers. We got the humble warrior coming up. Reach up and come forward. Right shoulder to the inside right knee. Lower your head. Look at your left foot and breathe. Eyes definitely open here. Okay. Release. Step forward, front of the mat, straightening your legs. Soften the knees, roll up to standing, sweep the arms out to the sides, all the way up. Good work. And hands to heart center. And breathe. That's great. It's really where I wanted to go. So we've had some arches, we had some twists, forward bending, back bending. We are complete, okay? So what I would like to do is offer you a variety of movements. One could be legs up the wall. Viparita Karani Asana. One could be that you're like, oh, I love this block, but there's a cool thing you could make. You could bind your legs. Oh, and the third option is shoulder stand, okay? But let's just say that you're going to take your legs up, make a loop, make a little loop, bring it to your feet. I know, sometimes easier said than done. Cinch up the block around your mid shin bone. And it should be like really containing you, right? It's like akasha. Akasha, ether, right? It's space. Contains all the other elements. Without akasha, there's nothing. Without space, there's nothing. Okay, so same thing. Like this is going to contain you. It's going to, without the block, without the strap, you're not being held together. This is holding you together. And look up at your feet or look up at the ceiling. You could also close the eyes and breathe. We're going to be here for about 5 rounds of breath. So those of you in shoulder stand, you could come to plow, you could come to fish pose. Okay. All right. When you start feeling that sort of draining, you kind of almost can feel lymph fluid draining. This is really good. And then we're going to unbind the legs, slip the block, the strap away, and take the block out from underneath you for a moment, and pull knees into chest. And what I'd like you to do is draw your arms under the knees and clasp your hands. We call it the Ganesha grasp. The Ganesha grasp, Ganesha is the elephant-headed god. So you make these little hooks with your hands, and your hands hook together. So it's like, and once you're there, it's like nothing can break this block. That's the baby elephant wrapping trunk around mama's tail for protection, okay? So you get the Ganesha grip thing going, and once you're there, then your knees push outward against your arms, and just allow your low back to stretch. Breathe in. Exhale. Don't let go of mama's tail. And breathe in. Exhale. So there is, it's nice to open up. So I know some don't do back bend so much, so it might be that you have a block under your pelvis and you're in floating bridge. That's okay. It's okay. But the best is to open up the throat, okay? So the other way I sometimes do is, this is kind of nice, you have like steps. So you have one block under your sacrum. Some of you have bolsters. You could lie over your bolster. Marianne, I hope you're lying over your bolster. And then, I know she has a bolster. And then you could be like so. And you could get rid of the other block under your head, but it's so nice to be supported. So look, make sure you're in alignment, and lower your head and breathe. I'm just going to be here a little bit. From here, we're going to start to bend the knees. Roll out, and then especially if you have a bolster, bring it under your knees. Let's bring the bolster under your knees, and I could demonstrate that. And make yourself comfortable. Make sure you're warm. Make sure you're happy. And take your time here. Palms are facing up. You now have officially become the observer of your breathing. You are observing your breath. You're not changing it in any way. And this session is dedicated to gratitude, expressing gratitude on a daily basis to oneself, internally, to others, in your journaling, I remembered it now, St. Augustine's Examen, that's what it is. And, whatever your traditions are of this examining and saying, oh yes, I feel this sort of gratitude. And I would like to read this beautiful quote I have from Michelle Obama about her growing up. We learned about gratitude and humility, that so many people had a hand in our success. From the teachers who inspired us to the janitors who kept our school clean. And we were taught to value everyone's contribution and treat everyone with respect. You can think of gratitude when we reflect on the day. You can also think of it in terms of kind of 3 blessings that you received during the day. And just take your time to completely relax your body. Overall wellness and optimal health is yours. Scanning your body for any residual tension. When you exhale, find yourself completely releasing. I'm going to have you just ever so slowly begin to deepen your breathing. And find yourself resurfacing. Slowly bending the knees and rolling to one side. And making your way to sitting. And we will end our session with an Om. You can turn your audio on, by the way, or your video if you're comfortable with that.